Hey, what's up, guys? Joker here. I just beat Saints Row, and I wanted to give some of my impressions about it. Don't really have any gameplay to overlay over because I wasn't recording, but I can just give my thoughts, and there's plenty of gameplay out there. Um, Before we get started, please like and subscribe. It helps out the channel, and yeah, let's get into it. So Saints Row, I mean, a lot of people, talking about it, memeing about it, talking about how it's a horrible game and stuff like that. My opinion is I don't think it's horrible. I think it's a very good example of a six game, like a 6 out of 10 game that you see all the time. Um, it's serviceable is the word I was finding was the best to describe it. I came into this game just wanting, a Saints Row game, and I got it. I got Saints Row 3. Now that's what it is. I got Saints Row 3. I got like a game. I got literally the a carbon copy of like Saints Row 3. That game though was is over a decade old. And all the complaints of this world is pretty dead. That's right. The game is like there's like nothing to do. That's about right. The story's kind of bad. Yeah. They're pretty valid. I mean, the story point, I feel like not enough people played it. In the very beginning, it's like really bad. It's like very corny dialogue, really cringe. I mean, it's just like really bad. As it goes on, it starts to like level off, and I don't know if it's like you kind of get like, sucked into like mediocrity, but like it got better. I think it definitely did get better as it went on. It's still not good to have a horrible beginning and then kind of level off basically towards like the middle and then end. I did think the last few missions, like the last 4 or 5 main missions, were really good. Um, and but it just wasn't enough because it is off-putting. You can't expect someone to say, hey, just play like 4 hours and it will get good eventually. Like, the Final Fantasy 13 type thing where it's like play 30 hours and then it gets good. It's like that's not reasonable for someone to, especially someone who paid $60 to, to expect someone to do that. It's kind of like weird. Um, the gameplay, I think the gameplay is all right. I mean, the AI I think is just really stupid in this game. Like sometimes when you're driving around, it's like the AI is on like crack or something. Like you'll see cars just like ram into each other, and then I saw one time one car rammed into another car, and then it piled up like 4 cars and just kept driving the 4 cars like through at like a really high speed. I was like, what the hell is this? And then when you're driving on the road, when you're doing like the radioactive things where you can't really get hit, the AI is like so stupid that it will just like not like when you're trying to like, go around, it won't like swerve out of the way. It will swerve into you, and then all these cars will just randomly start just driving into you at high speeds. It's like it needs to get a 1 instead of a 0, and it's getting like 5 zeros instead of that. And it's like, what is going on here? And then sometimes the AI when you're fighting just like goes stupid, kind of just sits in one position and you can just shoot. And like sometimes that would happen in like the boss fights. Like the bosses would just kind of just sit and not do anything, and you could just shoot them. Like it's like what is going on here? That like it's just so buggy, and that's the thing. Like there were a lot of bugs. I played this on PC, so at launch, if you're trying to launch the game through Epic Game Store, which is the only one this is on, it just like will sometimes fail when you go into like API graphics. I don't know what the hell type of screen. It just will fail and it'll just be error. And it's like it doesn't matter what you do. The only solutions I saw were sit there for 10 minutes and keep hitting the button. Or when you get to the API screen and it's like loading, the bar is loading, spam enter so the bar goes all the way through, gives you 30 error messages, and then somehow lets you into the game. I don't know why it was like that. They eventually did patch it. It took 2 patches, and it came out literally yesterday. And like I booted up the game, I think like 2 or 3 times. It worked fine, where I didn't have to do the spam enter type thing. But that's a little unacceptable that the game came out Tuesday, and on PC at least, it was not like it was a pain in the ass to even play the game for like 3 days. Like, why was this a thing? Like, what? Why was this a thing at launch? It almost makes it seem like, well, why didn't you just wait like the 3 days and put the PC version out on Friday? Like you fixed it. I mean, like Friday's a release date for a lot of games. It's like, why did this not happen? That is honestly unacceptable. And there are a ton of other bugs. Uh, in the game, whether it be textures loading in and out, and like, dude, that's like PS3, Xbox 360. Like, what I'm playing on a PC with a 3070 and a 5800X. Like, that's not crap. That's like that's not bad. And I'm playing it on high. It's not honestly doing anything to my GPU. My GPU was using maybe on high 1440p 240 hertz. Like my GPU is using not even like 50 to 60%. There are other games where I have to turn it down a bit. Like new games. Like this is stuff you'll see for like old games. That's what I'm talking about. It literally feels like they just took Saints Row 3. They're like, this is literally exactly what people wanted. And that's not what people wanted. We wanted a world that kind of feels like, it's a world, because that's what you expect from modern games today. Like, I played GTA 5, literally, I replayed it right before I played this game. That game is way, way better in every way. Maybe not like shooting, but like actually, shooting was kind of better. In that game's 2013 is when it originally came out. Like, what the fuck? Like, it looks better, it plays better, the story's better, the world is better. I mean, like, how is a game from 2013 lapping so, like, really just lapping them like this hard? It's like that's kind of weird and frustrating in like a way. And also, what's frustrating, speaking of frustrating, that just reminded me, it's like, why in early missions in the game and basically throughout the game, a lot of the missions were like, okay, I'm at my safe house. Okay, I'm gonna go on my phone and click the mission, and then it's like 2,000 meters away from me, 3,000 meters, 4,000 meters, sometimes. It's like, why am I driving so fucking far away just to go to a main mission? That is really weird. And also, it's really weird that they did it super early in the game. How they fixed it later on through the game and in the middle part is most missions would just start at your safe house. So you wouldn't have to go far away to start the mission. It's like, that's not a solution. You shouldn't be driving so fucking far away just to start a mission, just to do anything. And then also the missions were basically all the same. I'm gonna go to this point, kill a shitload of enemies. Now I gotta go to this point, kill a shitload of enemies. Now I gotta go to this point, kill a shitload of enemies. It got really boring throughout the entire. Like, if you played it enough in like one sitting, it would get really boring. I'd say in like hour to 2 hour chunks, it wouldn't get boring. And that I kind of was like doing that. And then yesterday I got a longer chunk, and I was like, wow, this is really fucking boring. The side stuff, like the ventures, I think those were also super boring. They brought back insurance fraud, which is, I think, the only fun one that I've played so far. Because everything else is just so boring. It's like, there's like this cleaners one where it's like, you gotta go to one point, and then you gotta go all the way to this other point, and you gotta do something else during that entire point. It's like, this isn't fun. Like, who played this and thought this was fun to do? Um, you know, it is just a great example of a 6. It might have been a 7 for me had I not experienced so many freaking bugs. And I honestly was thinking it would be a 5 just because there were so many bugs. Like, or even lower, just because it's like, on PC, it's like, dude, this is unacceptable. It's basically not letting me play the fucking game. And I feel bad for the people who paid $60 for this game. I didn't pay $60 for this game. I got like an AMD rewards code, and that's how I got the fucking game. So to me, I didn't even spend $60 on it. It's like if I had spent $60, dude, I would have refunded it like before the 2 hours. Like, that's just this game is not fun. It's not good enough to pay for $60 when it's 20. 30 maybe, then you can probably get it. But $60, there's no fucking way I am paying $60 for this game. It is not worth $60. Not to mention the game is like 10 hours. Like like 10 hours if you like mainline it, do some science stuff. It was maybe like 10 hours for me. Um I also think like something that was like really interesting is like so you can upgrade your damage in your weapons on levels 5, 10, and 15. If you do that, you literally are just shredding through enemies. Like 5, okay, I'm shredding these enemies. 10, immediately get it, shredded the enemies. 15, I was cooking the late game. Like it was kind of like weird in a way, but like it makes sense. But like you literally would like the time to kill dramatically decreases the more you upgrade, which is like honestly something that you should do. But like it was kind of like weird at the end game. I was just like flatlining people like instantly. I would just like look at them and they die. Um, the abilities you get honestly are fucking boring. I honestly forgot about most of them. Like I would do the grenade chuck one every once in a while when I remembered it. I would do the takedown, which is basically the only way to heal yourself. Just because I remembered, oh shit, I gotta heal myself, just because I was taking so much damage or whatever. But um, you know, I think if this game was probably delayed 6 months, it still wouldn't solve the issues for a lot of people because I think the story is something that a lot of people just can't get over, and that is not something you can just fix in 6 months. Maybe it is. I don't know. The bugs definitely could have been fixed, but like it's kind of weird. Like I was thinking about it, I was like, man, this really does. It feels like Saints Row 3, but like the more I think about it, I feel like the world was probably more fleshed out in Saints Row 3. In this world, it's just like it's big to be big. Like you have the urbaner areas and then there's like desert areas. And it's like why are these desert areas here? I know we're in a desert, but like why are these desert areas here? Like sometimes you have to go all the way out there and it's like really fucking far away. Like even taking a helicopter is like so horrible. And also what is like funny is like some missions just want to have like music to go along with it. I feel like some of these patches they added music to missions to like make it not seem like nothing is happening type of thing. Like there's no like elevation in sound or something like that to like like oh this is like lit and something like that because like later missions had that but earlier missions didn't and it was like so did they like because I got two patches I was like did they like patch this shit in? I mean like also I think what is like really bad is like the soundtrack is like dude there's like I feel like the radio stations just play like one song, so you get like there's like maybe 10 songs I heard. I don't know if they're like actual these like real live songs or they just like ones they made, but like they were all shit. And yeah, I was just thinking about GTA 5. I'm like, dude, GTA 5 soundtrack was really good, and it like having radio personalities that were like actually felt like personalities added to that world. And it's like it might not be fair to compare GTA 5 to Saints Row because they're not like they're kind of the same game because like they're open world, gangster type crap, but like it's not fair and it's honestly kind of sad that a 2013 game is like way better than a 2022 game. And I would even think I played Saints Row 2 and I played Saints Row 3 and 4. I honestly think this one is like worse than all three of them. Like and a lot of people hated Saints Row 4. I at least liked it because the traversal wasn't horrible. Um, and honestly, something else, I feel like, dude, like Eli, Kev, and Nina, they're like basically just scuffed versions of Johnny Gat, Pierce, and Shandi. Like that's honestly the funniest thing about the game. And it's like they got like a scene where they lined them all up in one, and I was like, dude, these guys are just scuffed versions of Johnny Gat, Pierce, and Shandi. And it was like that honestly just blew my mind how they just made them literally carbon copies of them. Uh, and like just like worse. They're just like scuffed versions with like no personality basically. Um you know, yeah, that's my thoughts on Saints Row. I mean, 2022 Saints Row. Not a game I would buy at full price. Probably wait for it to go to 20, maybe even free. Who knows? It'd probably be a PS Plus, Game Pass, Epic Game Store free game. I mean, I could definitely see it just because they need, like, Embracer Group needs some money. I mean, god damn, this is like a flop. I would be surprised if it hits 2 million. Um, I wouldn't be surprised if it hits 1 million just because there's enough morons out there that are like, I want to play a Saints Row game, and they're gonna see Saints Row and be like, I gotta get this type thing. But yeah, that's my thought. Those are my thoughts on it, and yeah, like I said earlier, like and subscribe really helps out, and